Coach Manson, Troy High School defensive coordinator. I've been there for this is going into my 10th season. I'm also an alumni from Troy High School, so I played there back in the day, and then I went on to the University of Toledo where I played linebacker. And after graduating, it makes me a little different. I'm not a teacher, so me getting into coaching, I kind of took a different avenue. So I'm a realtor. It's how I earn my paycheck, or at least the largest portion of it. Used to do some remodeling, and so when I went on to work for myself, it was an opportunity to get into coaching. I considered doing it out of college, going the GA route, but I quickly realized it's not a life I was ready to live for a young man out of college. So I've been there going into my 10th year. I feel pretty fortunate around a really good staff. I definitely am in a situation where it's not me doing all the thinking. I got a lot of good coaches around me. I know our head coach played linebacker at Kent State, so he's obviously defensive minded. DB coach played at Wittenberg. It's a good school there, a lot of good coaching. The outside, this year I'm switching back into inside linebackers, and our outside linebacker coach played at UD, University of Dayton. And then we got a young D-line coach. This is his first year with us, and so we think we get together as a staff and gel well. And so we're looking forward to I should mention that we're a 3-4 defense, so we try to be multiple. Really just trying to give people different looks to prepare for different things each week. So one week we might stay in a tight front a little more. The next week we'll come out and maybe we'll shade the front and kick it to an over and under, play that a lot that week. So we're trying to give people different looks. If we're in our 50 front, we're usually moving out of it or blitzing out of it. We don't typically sit in it. So we're just trying to give people, we play the cover 2 and 3 and some man. Once again, just giving people things to look at. So excited to be on with you guys.
All right, I'm Jarrod Remer. The last 10 years of my career, I've been coaching at Cedarville High School in Cedarville, Arkansas. We were a 3-man staff, 7 through 12, which makes you learn quite a bit. You kind of get thrown into the fire, especially those first couple of years out when you think you know some football and you find out pretty quick that you don't. I've been coaching offense and defensive line pretty much the whole time. This will be my first year in a new district. This summer, I actually moved schools, so now I'm the offensive coordinator at Butterfield Trail Middle School here in Van Buren, Arkansas. So the offense that we run is going to be a little different than what I'm going to do tonight. We run a Wing-T at Cedarville, or they run a Wing-T at Cedarville. And the head coach there, Coach Washhausen, is really good at using multiple formations and shifts and motions and stuff. I probably won't do a whole lot of that tonight, but we like that system because it gives rules, and basically we're going to run our stuff no matter what defense we're going to get. Now, we know certain plays are probably going to work better against certain defenses, but at the same time, we're still going to run our stuff, and we have rules for, you can throw the pump block defense up there, and we have rules for it. Now, whether we execute it or not, it's a different story, but, in theory, we can pencil whip any defense that, you throw up there. So it also helps us with our undersized linemen. I think right now we've got a 150-pound pulling guard. Most of the time they can't just base up a big 300-pound defensive lineman. So it's a really good offense for that school, and he's been doing a really good job and really built that program up the last 6-7 years. So they're poised to have a pretty good year this year. They've got a running back that's going to probably eclipse the 5,000-yard rushing mark this year. They've got a pretty special group this year. So. To that formation with the shaded nose, which we got quite a bit. With that to the weak side, I would probably open up with our belly series that we have. We liked it because it was a hard downhill, fast-hitting play. That kid that's going to eclipse about 5,000 yards rushing this year, he actually started his sophomore year as our fullback, and then he's been the running back the last couple of seasons. So he's got, if he hits the trap or he hits belly fast enough, he's going to take it to the house. If he hits the crease good. We just like the angles that it creates. there's a couple of rule sets depending on how they line up on the weak side that we can block with our play side guard and tackle. Backside, it's basically like a zone block for them. They're going to step play side. If they run into someone, they're going to block him. If they don't run into anyone, they're going to climb. I usually told them after 2 steps, if you haven't made contact, get vertical. And then our running back leads through the hole, kind of like an ISO play. So it's weak side ISO, when you really boil it down to it. And then our split, to the far end is stop blocking the corner. The wing's going to try to get across that rover's face and try to get to a safety if he can. The big thing that we tell everyone backside is just don't let anyone, slant across your face for the most part.
Basically, what we're trying to do, and with the flanker there, we're just going to try to man up with the corner, let him go. So he's really not going to get a lot of help from the safety. The safety in this situation is actually going to roll down into the box, much like you would in cover 3. So he can help on something quick like a slant, but he's not helping over top. He's really getting in the run fit here. So we're expecting him to come down in there. We got a 3 tech in the B. We got our outside backers on the edge there as a 5 tech. Nose, as you mentioned, we're a 1-5-9 over there. Actually, we're head up with the wings with our roper. So basically what we're trying to do is we're flipping on that tight end wing side. We're flipping the safety in the corner. So what we're trying to do is we think our safety is a little bit better tackler, so we're trying to get him down in the box there. Now their pass responsibilities on that is just basically it's kind of like a cover 2. We're telling that safety to take the first out and taking the corner and stacking over top. Telling them to take first up is really what we're doing with that. But really the biggest reason we're doing that is just to get the safety in the box. We think he's going to be able to get down in there and fit a little better than our corners. That's nothing personal against the corners, but historically they're not as good at tacklers as our safeties. With our inside backers, I'm going to pretty much, I know, we're kind of trying to wrap it up quickly here. So a lot of preparation of the week, but for most part, I'm going to tell them to go with the pulling guards if they pull anybody, because to me, I'm a little old school and believe guards are still the key to the wing T, is at least what I believe. I know there's some new wrinkles we're putting out these days and kind of, trying to get you out of that. But so for the most part, wing T teams, I don't blitz a lot, to be honest with you. I think sometimes you're guessing, unless you really have a tendency off their data, you're just guessing and you're going to run yourself out of a play and get gutted. So for the most part, I'm going to try to, let's just stay sound with our technique. Hope our Jimmies are better than their Joes, and play sound football. What I'm going to do here is I went ahead and lined the tackle on the nose up, head up on the guards. We're just going to pinch inside with the down and distance being second one. I'm expecting something short here. So we're going to try to take those A gaps away. I have my outside backer, my other defensive end or defensive tackle, 5 techs. Okay, you got the edge, and we're taking a B. We're going to take our Raptor here and actually rip him inside. Okay, we're going to rip him inside of the wing on this one. The safety is going to try to fit off the edge here. If it's a run, obviously, and you've got flats if it's fast. Corner's still over top, just taking anything leaking vertical. And so my backside safety is basically inserted down in the box here. We're playing true man out there with the corner. So the safeties are going to insert himself in the box there. If that running back would leak out, obviously he'd pick him up to the flats. So it'd turn into like a man situation if he leaks out. Other than that, he's reading near back into the backfield there. Okay, so if they open up in that, into that B gap, because we're going to rip into the A there with the tackle. So if they open on the B, he's going to have to fill it. The inside backer, since we walked the safety down the box, we went ahead and kicked the inside backer over a little bit, so he's a true Mike over the center there. He's basically going to go with the fullback. Wherever he's going to fill it. So hopefully if they're running the A gaps, we have those taken care of. So he's going to probably fit B gaps. So he's just flying wherever the fullback goes. And then my other fitter is that other inside backer who we kicked over like a 40 tech. Basically, we have him stacked right behind the defensive tackle over there. So he's just going to flow, reading the guards, but he's really flowing. Everything should be, gapped up right in front of him. So he's either going to have to fill that B gap as well, or he's going to be scraping off the edge. Because hopefully that wing would down block on the outside, what we're calling a Raptor here. He'd be down blocking on him. So really the only guy who could climb to him would be that tight end. So hopefully we got him covered up enough for them to go find the football.
So with the down the distance, obviously I like doing a hard count just to see if we can get cheap 5 yards without having to run a play. So we'd hard count. We usually do like a check with me. So we'll call, we would send plays in from the sideline. So, we'd call like, the hard count play. And then if they didn't jump, we'd have another play called. So in this instance, we'd run trap with our fullback, especially against, if we're getting 2-2s. That's one that we like to block back. So, our center's going to block back against that weak side 2. Backside tackle, he is going to choke his splits down since he's got a shaded 5 on him. And he's actually going to try to aim for your middle backer. And he would be trying to actually just kind of get in the way, if he could, of that safety that you've got rolled up to the backside. Most of the time, that kid's not fast enough to get over there, but if he can at least make him change his angle, with this type of play being so downhill, it might give us another yard or 2. Play side guard and tackle, just go to the middle backer and the play side backer. With it being a stacked 40, it makes that block a little more difficult because ideally we want to pin them inside if we can. But really it's just getting to them and getting them framed inside your feet if we can. We would try to, in theory, trap that too. If he's going to end up pinching a gap, there have been some instances where we've had teams that have done exactly that and just crashed into A gap, really hard. And we told him if he tries to cross your face, just wash him down, and then we'll trap the next down lineman pass. So in that instance, our guard he's told to stay on his tracks and hit the first lineman that he sees. If that nose that you have shaded into the 2 pinching into A, he crossed our face. Obviously we wouldn't be able to get to your middle backer. But he'd be out of the way, so then we would end up with our rule set, trapping that end that's in a 5. So that's a long way to go for that guard, but it would probably hit somewhere A to B, depending on where the hole opens up, especially knowing we only need 1 yard. This is a pretty safe play for us. It's been pretty productive over the last several years, especially with that young man that's going to eclipse that 5,000 mark. This is our toss play. So what we did, we moved our wing over to the weak side, and we do that to help seal the edge because that weak side tackle, his main job is to try to reach that 5 technique if he can. Okay, sometimes it's easier than others. Sometimes that 5, they play what I call a tight 5, where they're really splitting you down the middle. Other times it's a wide 5 where their toes are actually even with your toes or outside of your toes. So we'll park that wing there. So those 2 are really comboing to, I guess, your middle backer. The wing is really trying to get to the backer more than anything. He's just trying to help that tackle and make sure that end doesn't just scream outside. We're going to crack block that safety or your other backer that you have out there with our split. And we're going to pull our weak side guard. He's going to run as fast as he can at that corner because, as you said, corners generally don't like coming up and making the tackle a whole lot. So we're going to make that kid come up and try to make the tackle on us, or at least have him dodge our guard to where our running back can read, and tuck opposite. Backside, we're just going to reach play side. Usually a defensive lineman's not going to be able to hunt us down on that play. If they have just a freak athlete somewhere, we'll game plan for him accordingly. We can choke splits down if we have to. Normally we're at a 2-foot split with all of our linemen. And then our fullback is actually just blocking backsides. Our quarterback will do a full spin out and turn and toss to the weak side.
We were thinking here is it being 3rd and 10, you guys are up 10, I believe. Yeah, 3rd and 10, you guys are up 10, you're at the -40. So at this point, we're just trying to kind of play shell, nothing, too exotic here. Let's see if we can hold them to, 10 yards or less, basically, try to get them off the field here to force the punt, get the ball back. We're still in the 3rd quarter, so it's not quite desperation time. We're still in the game. So we're just trying to kind of play shell. We don't want to give up a bunch of yards, but if we give up 5 or 6, we're going to be okay. You're still not at the 50. So we're thinking hopefully we're going to force a punt. Of course, we don't know if you're the kind of offense that goes forward all the time on fourth down or not, But so what we're trying to do there, basically, the reason I kicked the front to the tight end where I had a 3 and 9 over there instead of going a 1-5-9, which I had done earlier on first down, is because on passing down, sometimes I don't mind having a 4-man line. Now against the wing team, we may change that a little bit that week, but if we're thinking heavy run, we typically like a 5-man line. So that's why you're going to get a lot of 1-5-9s over there to that tight side. But when we think a team's going to throw, we may just go with 3-9, roll a safety down like we did. We put him down in there over the tackle. He's going to help a little bit in the run game. Guards, the inside back are still reading the guards. We bump them a little bit when we put that safety in the box, so they won't be too true 20 techs. They'll kick a little bit, maybe do a 10. The other side might be a 30 or a 40 tech. Trying to get them out there. I know the side that you have the wing on there, we're thinking, he's going to read the wing into the backfield, so I'm not sure if they're going to arc release or you said he's going to go on to that backer, so he's just going to have to come up and hopefully win a block against, I'm assuming, that other running back. And then, somewhere if you pull a lineman, what we trying to hope for is if they're going to pull a lineman, we hope we can get in that hip pocket. It's easier said than done, but we would like to think if we can force back blocks by the lineman, if you're pulling, then you're going to probably have to back block. And if you do, hopefully that means our inside backers are kind of kept clean and they can run a little bit more. That's at least what we're aiming for here. So we tell our players, it's got to be one or the other. Either they're going to have to back block the D line so the linebackers can run, or they're going to get to the second level, but you guys got to get in the full hip pockets, So that's something that we're going to try to win there. I know easier said than done, so we'll see what Jimmy Joes can do. What we're doing here, being on the 7-yard line, 2 seconds left, it's pretty much now or never. So it's either end zone or bust. We're not worried about, if they get a 5-yard gain here, it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to do with the trips there, we're going to go ahead and cloud it, squat heavy on that with that corner. They're going to run a sprint out or some type of roll out there, and then we're just going to roll the safety over top, if they try to leave something vertical over him. Outside backer is going to wall 3 the best he can there. We're going to take the inside backer and just go ahead and loop him on a blitz right off the edge, kind of anticipating sprint out. He can peel on that back. If they actually flare the back in front of his face, he can just peel and turn on him. But for the most part, we're not for sure if they're going to just run a bubble or what. Of course, they may be setting us up for old halfback throwback here on the back tight end side. So we took our outside 5 tech there. The edge player is ripping through the B gap here, so we got the A and the B covered. Our backside backer, the backside inside backer, he's technically going to have 2 out, so he's going to kind of zone drop there. But if 2 being that running back would leak out, he got to pick him up because the corner's on 1, which is tight end, so he's going to slot him up man to man at this point. Like I said, we're not expecting anything else. And the safety is kind of a bonus player. He's over top. Technically, he's supposed to kind of look at 3, but he can shade over top. I don't know if they'll try to slide 3 up the middle. He should be getting walled by the outside backer anyways. But the safety will be sliding over top. He's just going to have to read at that point. If it's a run, he's going to have to be that extra fitter, get down into the C gap if it is a run his way. But if it's pass, he's going to be flying over top, just looking for 3 vertical and counting on our backer to pick up the running back if they do halfback and throwback. So that's all I got, man. Good luck to us on this one.
We've been run all game long. We're anticipating that we might get some man coverage. So we're going to run kind of a variation of a post wheel. So we're going to run that post, hoping that the corner bails with him, or if not, he's going to take the safety with him over on that side, and we're still going to run that wheel route. What we're actually going to be looking for, though, is probably that deep out. We call it the banana route. It's kind of shaped like a banana, especially with that linebacker having inside leverage on number 3. Now, quarterback is going to be rolling to his right. We've got our fullback in the backfield that's going to help try to protect the edge. Linemen are hinge blocking, so they're going to drop that left foot and then pick up anything that enters the gap to their left. Backside tight end, he's really kind of running a spot route. It ends up being almost like a little skinny post, but he's just trying to find an open spot in defense, really. And he's kind of the, as he's dragging across the formation with our quarterback rolling out, he might, drag himself open. Um, Obviously, we're going to be looking for either the wheel or the banana, but if the post is wide open right off the bat, then he's going to sling it and try to get it and, score. Usually down in these situations, everyone will anticipate us running, our buck sweep, which I didn't even draw up here. But this kind of a different little variation on I guess, kind of like a post wheel concept with just a deep out. So it's kind of you either got to guard one or the other. Like I said, guys, I've been doing O line and D line for the past 10 seasons. This is my first season as a coordinator at the middle school that I'm going to be working at this year. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Remer. It's Coach_Remer, I believe. Usually pretty active on anything that has to do with offensive line chats on there. Hog football chats on Mondays are always good. Occasionally I'll hop on and be able to get on the Texas high school football chat one. But there's just so many good minds on Twitter that are just more than willing to share, their football knowledge and stuff. I think it's one of the best communities that's out there, as far as social media goes, the coaching brotherhood, just being willing to share anything that you've got. So if anyone, wants to pick my brain on anything or anything like that, just feel free to hit me up.
You guys had me on tonight, Coach Mallard and Coach Remer. Nice to get a chance to talk to you guys, talk a little football. I know it's kind of fun just drawing up some things, scenarios, see what happens. And I know it's a little easier when you at least got a week to prepare for a Wing-T. I think you gave me about 3 or 4 minutes on the intro, told me what I was up against. But softball offense, that's the thing about the Wing-T that makes it pretty special. It's like you don't see it all the time, so especially if you get it late in the season, it's definitely pretty tough. But yeah, I'm at Coach J Man on Twitter. If anybody, feel free to hit me up. I'm always down to talking football and bouncing ideas off each other. And I think sometimes that's the best way to learn is just what's out there. If there's one perfect defense or one perfect offense, what everybody run. But I think when you get a chance to kind of bounce ideas off each other, different ways to spin it and kind of create it, make it your own. I think that's what we at least try to do at our school, at Troy High School. We don't really run, I think, one person's defense. Everyone else says, well, what do you run? Whatever. We're just a hybrid of things that I ran in college, things I ran in high school, different staff that I've been on in high school. Some of the coaches, as I mentioned, I have some pretty good assistant coaches on staff with me. And, some of where they're from, they have really good coaching. And some of their coaches have went on to do some really good things. So we really kind of blend what we do. We make it fit. Some years we run more cover 2 than others based off of what the kids can do. And some years we can't even run cover 2, so we better learn how to play some cover 3. So we're going to adapt to fit where we have to. I know tonight, for example, we just kind of played stock. Where in the past we've even taken out an extra DB and played with 5 D linemen against Wing-T teams. We'll try to get personnel on the field that can match up. It's nothing against defensive backs, but I don't feel like I need them out there against the Wing-T team. So, we've custom some defense over the years. I know one year we did a true cover 2 where we were inverted with the safeties in the corners, and it was a true too high look. We're not really some of the things I drew up tonight. So we'll bounce it around. We played a team one time where we had a safety broke his leg the week before, and an outside backer broke his thumb. So it was like, how are we going to patch this one together? So I think we played with, I think there was 3 DBs, 5 true D linemen, so we just had to gap up the best we can. So that's the thing about a Wing-T team. They're going to make you work for it for 4 quarters. So I certainly appreciate you, Coach Remer, coming out there, and I'm sure you kept a ton of your tricks in the bag. So I appreciate that. I know you guys didn't get into shifts and motions. So I appreciate that. And I enjoy my time with you guys.